Welcome to this evening's teleconference. This evening's topic is on emergency preparedness and long-term food storage. Your host for this evening is Gene Kelly, President of Executive Protection.
Well, hello, everyone. This is Gene Kelly, and welcome to this call. I think you'll find it very informative and I think very timely and important. Here's just a few of the things that we're going to touch on during this hour-long teleseminar. We're going to talk about current dangers to the food supplies worldwide. What are some of the best types of food to store and how to do it? What else you need to survive and thrive even during a natural disaster or an economic collapse. What one method, if not used, will quickly ruin your food storage or your stored food, and how to exactly plan for your family's needs. We're also going to cover, along the way, additional critical survival and preparedness information. And again, I think that you're going to really get a lot out of this call. In fact, I know that you're going to get something because if you stay on to the end of the call, you're going to get some free goodies. And I'll let our guest tell you all about that. But I was pretty surprised when he made this offer because it is very valuable. First, let me give you a little bit of background on myself. Some of you may not know me. My name is Gene Kelly. I'm president of Executive Protection, and a little bit about my background. I've worked in law enforcement in the private sector, have received extensive training in the United States and Israel for security. I am president and founder of Executive Protection, and this company has done security consulting around the world. Places I've worked have been Angola, South Africa, Middle East, Central America, the Caribbean, so on. And what we do is we primarily focus on security design and consulting with CEOs of various companies and high net worth individuals. Matter of fact, now that's all I work with are those two, CEOs and high net worth individuals. We've had clients that are well-known celebrities, government officials, and high-profile people in both the public and private sector. Now, my background, like I said, I have some law enforcement background. I've worked very closely with law enforcement over the last 30 years. I'm a certified protection professional, as awarded that status by the American Society of Industrial Security. I've authored numerous articles on security-related topics and have developed and marketed nationally several training programs on security. I'm also a certified gunsmith and a firearms expert and president of the American Gunsmithing Institute. Many of you know me through that. I have taught U.S. and foreign small arms courses internationally, and I hold a whole lot of special certifications and licenses that we don't need to go into. But we are also, Executive Protection and myself, are the exclusive USA representatives for International Security and Defense Systems of Israel. We've worked on projects together for about 20 years. And currently we're focused on some very large international projects, including the World Cup Soccer in Brazil and the upcoming Olympic Games. ISDS has done security on 4 out of the last 5 Olympics, just to give you an idea, and many, many high-profile industrial security projects around the world. And we've been tied into that. Okay, enough about me. Let me tell you a little bit about the freeze-dried guy and why you need to listen to what he has to say. I've known him for about 30 years, and he has been my personal advisor, supplier, and the source I go to with my high-end clients. There's little doubt that there's any other individual that I know of, and I don't think anybody else has contacts with, that has been so deeply involved with all aspects of emergency preparedness, specifically in the area of long-term food storage. And I mean from consumer to manufacturer, A to Z, Freeze-Dry Guy has been involved with that. I can't really tell you a whole lot more about his background, except that it does include extensive multi-decades of military experience. Freeze-Dry Guy, you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to throw you a bunch of questions throughout the evening, and let's just try and work through them and give these people as much information as we possibly can. first of all, why do you think that there is even a need to be prepared? And then, if so, what for and for how long?
Well, Gene, my personal belief is, and everybody's looking at what's happening in our country and worldwide. The economies are going to pot in most countries. Availability of food is becoming an issue. In fact, from 2007 on, we've had a shortfall. About half the wheat was produced in 97, 98 worldwide that we needed to get by in that area. Everywhere we're beginning to have shortages. And America is the most plush country in the face of the earth when it comes to food. But even we're being affected. We're bringing in a lot of food from overseas. Not a good thing. We're dependent upon them. As you and I were discussing, the San Joaquin Valley right now is on water rationing to 10% of what it was the previous year.
This California Central Valley, that's the breadbasket of America. Well, maybe not the breadbasket, but certainly fruits, nuts, and vegetables of the United States.
Absolutely. So it's becoming more precarious. Even our distribution system is broken. I talk to truck drivers all the time. They're having trouble moving product of any kind. We work on what's called the just-in-time. In other words, it means it's just in time. I refer to it as just in the nick of time.
Right.
Anytime we have a burp in the system, it holds up supplies of all kinds, food being most critical. And if we have some sort of a disjointed situation in our economy, which again is already upon us, if we have civil unrest, which will come as a result of that, if we go into this thing we appear to be going into, it'll clear out the supermarkets, nothing flat. Most stores carry 2 to 3 days worth of food for normal circumstances.
Yeah, it's without anybody grabbing and hoarding like we see in every upcoming disaster where we have advance notice, like some of the hurricanes,
Absolutely.
Where everything's stripped
Correct.
bare in seconds, in a few hours. But and of course, out here in California, we don't get any advance warning for earthquakes.
No.
And I've lived through a few of those, and some of them had pretty disastrous results, and we're still waiting for the big one.
That's right. It was 30 years ago. I was watching Johnny Carson. It was over 30 years ago. The gasoline shortage had officially been declared as over. And he came on, during his monologue, he said, folks, we're on the edge of having a toilet paper shortage. The following day, and for fully a week, there were shortages all over America of toilet paper because one man, Johnny Carson, brought that to their attention.
It was a joke, right?
It was a joke. FCC climbed all over that guy. But that's what happened when one man who was well-watched made a joke.
And apparently the joke just was enough to trigger a panic.
That's right.
And you think about, what if it's not a joke? What if somebody's talking about an area such as, you talked about shifting around the world, all the fruits and vegetables. I mean, it's amazing when you find out where all this stuff is coming from. There's a lot we don't raise. It comes from Malaysia, it comes from South America, and so on. I'm just thinking even fuel issues. If there was an interruption in the fuel supplies, the shipping supplies. So I think we'd agree there's a vulnerability. Another one that's been kind of concern to me lately has been some of the natural, insects, parasites, other things that we've recently, because of the international trade here, I just saw an article night before last in the paper where I'm here in the Napa Valley, for anybody who doesn't know, Napa Valley, California, and a new parasite of type of moth that came in. I think it was an apple moth or something like that, and they're very concerned about that destroying a lot of the grape crops here because it can rapidly proliferate, and also it has these things can be so quickly introduced by accident. They come over on a plane and a load of fruit or something like that, or some plant that's shipped over, and by the time the larva comes out, boom, away they go. And we're seeing that happening more and more. So if that can happen to something like grape crops, it concerns me that it could happen in a big way to